The first step towards divine power. Lecture 1. Keep on keeping on, till results begin to come, for this is assured. This is the medulla, that particular portion of the brain through which every nerve must pass. It is like the telephone exchange, for every nerve passing into the body must pass through that particular part connected with the spine, down through the spine. Then these nerves go right through the spinal column, and in each section of the spine nerves go out. As they go out, they go into the organs of the body, the blood vessels, and control this portion of the brain here, the cerebrum, where we have our thinking portion of the brain. The motor portion of the brain also goes through this area and is linked up on each side of the spine by what we call motor or sensory nerves. Running down each side of the spine there is a ganglion mass of nerve tissue, as we will learn later, and how to get this relaxed. This ganglion mass of nerve tissue is the link between the cerebrospinal and the sympathetic. Without this mass of nerve tissue, you would not have no motor activity at all in your system. If, for instance, you think certain things out of fear, this fear is transferred to the motor portion of your brain and it is carried to the body and causes the body to shake. When you create what we call a habit pattern, an emotional habit pattern, it is this area, the motor area, where it becomes affected. Misbehavior takes place in this portion of the brain which controls the remainder of your "for everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and he who knocks it is open to him." Luke 11:10. Body and sets up a reaction, perhaps in your intestines, which creates what we call duodenal ulcer, nerve spasms, pains in the stomach, of all types of skin troubles. All types of things are brought about because of the emotional habit pattern and the misbehavior in this motor portion of the brain. Now life created all these things so life could express itself perfectly. But as you see then clearly, the conscious you, being not aware of the fact that life is unconditioned, and your life, you allow outside things to condition you. Consequently, as you allow outside things to condition you, you condition life through these particular portions of your brain. Therefore you have externalized on your body the pattern you yourselves create. It is to obviate these things that this course is produced for you. In this series of 10 lessons, we will put into operation the 10 steps of the scientific application of the natural law that frees us from all inhibiting processes caused by our emotions and habitual reactions, caused mostly unconsciously or through ignorance of what we are doing. The chaos in most people's lives comes from a confused state of mind caused by the influence of things external, material possessions, social and economic struggle, fear of symptoms that are unnatural, and emotional reactions to nearly every event that takes place in their lives. Watch carefully as we go along and you will see what takes place and how we can overcome those conditions. When then we find that this condition is brought about unconsciously through a misbehavior of this particular portion of the brain, it attacks a particular part of the body, in the form of tension. Tension is always the first process that takes place. A particular portion of the body is tense. Some people, when anything happens, it goes to their stomach. Sometimes when something happens to others, it goes to their eyes, goes to their head, sometimes it goes to their legs, sometimes it goes to their intestines. In fact, various parts of the body are affected according to the individual. Now when we have tension throughout the whole body, what happens? It is this portion of the brain that is causing the trouble because it is the motor center. First of all, it is here we think, it is transferred then to this portion of the brain for interpretation, then the body is affected. Immediately you relax the body and take the tension off the body, then it takes this tension off this motor section of the brain. When you relax the body, the tension is taken off and consequently the misbehavior here begins to slow down. The body talks to this portion of the brain and says, I'm relaxing, and this portion then says, all right, relax, and the tension is taken off the motor section of the brain, and you find that you get into the brain, into that subconscious process of the mind. That subconscious and sympathetic nature of the body that is controlled automatically through a form of suggestion, that is the best form of suggestion, that is true relaxation and divine reasoning. There is no better form of suggestion. These people are ignorant of the true source of power and by their lack of understanding misuse their creative law and bring upon themselves misery. With understanding and a properly directed technique, life can continue to grow more abundant. With the increase of mental and bodily health and increased material possessions which are in themselves only the outward expression of a well-ordered mind, life can become a blessing instead of what it is often, a miserable existence. It is with this end in view that I write these lessons. I would remind you again that the main factor underlying these lessons is the instruction on how to obtain perfect physical and mental relaxation coupled with divine reasoning which leads you out of the forest of doubt and confusion into the sunlight of understanding and freedom. It is entirely a natural sequence, for nature does the work when we take off the brakes. What does divine reasoning do? Relaxation by itself often cures certain conditions, but without its twin pillar of divine reasoning, you cannot get that perfect mental state that is required to overcome the things that arrive from the external things that arrive to you. Sometimes you may be upset by words, what a person has said, what a person may do. But there is a time that arrives in your life through divine reasoning, that nothing affects you, you are supreme. You know that life cannot be injured. I am life. Just as electricity cannot be injured, neither can I be injured. What can be injured is only an idea of myself. But an idea is just an idea, and it is not myself. Remember, no matter what anybody says about you, thinks about you, if you maintain this particular state of consciousness, you will find that it will grow more and more. The more people say things about you, the more you will be pleased at the fact that they do say those things, for the simple reason that it gives you a greater and greater strength. Nothing happens by chance. Sometimes people are put into your lives. There is a thorn in the flesh, you try to run away from that, but you cannot. If you do, you are creating a habit pattern. You are believing in the power of another individual instead of believing in the power that is yourself. When you have arrived at that state, you can, if you wish, destroy at once, even with a thought. But you do not do that because of the fact that you have found something that is greater than destruction, it is construction, and that is built upon love. Therefore, you see, in your lives you will have these things coming at you from all sides. You will find then that you react to those conditions. You create emotional habit patterns that cause havoc in your bodies. I can assure you I will show you a way out of those conditions, and you will find freedom, health, strength, and youth. Yes, you will become young again. You will feel the rhythm of life and youth in your veins. In the first place, I want to make it clear to you that under no circumstances must you suppress an emotion, whether it is a natural one or one caused by reactions to people or things. What you have to do is to understand it, and then it is transformed naturally into creative energy instead of being ignorantly suppressed to cause emotional habit patterns that inhibit our brain, nerves, and bodily organs. I think I told you before about how the little girl was entirely innocent of the emotional reaction of the dustman. In Australia, and most other places where people put their dustbins out in the street. The dustbins. So one little girl was outside it and she was playing with this dustbin and she toppled it over and all the stuff was on the street. So the mother watched out of the window all this taking place. She saw the dustman picking it up and doing so and so. When the little girl came back into the house, she said, "You naughty little girl, and what did the dustman say to you?" "Oh, Mummy, he never talked to me at all, he was talking to Jesus Christ all the time." So it is the same thing. If we can be immune to these things external to ourselves, we would just be like that little girl, so happy and contented. Fear is an emotion of great strength, and it is when we reach a certain state of development we feel it most. It is because we have not yet sufficient knowledge of how to deal with it that we suffer. One may have developed through conformity and be intelligent enough to live a communal life but fail miserably as a human being because they lack true understanding. Yet this is the state of most people. In the understanding of ourselves and in the higher development of our minds, we recognize the creative principle within us, and by doing so many obsessions and fears are banished. Yet under certain conditions we fail badly and suffer the consequences. Therefore a special technique is necessary as a means of coping with these disastrous situations. The exercises I am going to direct you to do have been the means of freeing thousands from the most disturbing conditions. In fact, I have not yet seen this method fail when properly applied with intelligence and enthusiasm. In the first place, I want you to ask yourselves, what are your natural instincts? It is said that our instincts are in conflict with our conventions, like a force rising to the surface, and are suppressed by our surroundings. Naturally, we inherit all the instincts of all the animals in creation. We inherit all these things in our body because our body is built up of these animal influences. We have the peacock, we have the lion, the tiger, the cat, the mouse, and all the other animals in ourselves. The influence of all creation is working through the physical organism, through millions and millions of years, through what we call that particular substance, which we will call the instinctive nature that flows through the whole of the animal existence. Man is then also growing out of that particular stage into realization of his glorious self. But these influences remain with us. Now, what do we do? Do we then suppress these things ignorantly? Not knowing them, by understanding them, we do not attach unnatural and destructive ideas to them and repress the natural instincts and emotions with the evil association we ourselves create. By our understanding, we transform the basic energy, and it flows into constructive channels in art, music, sport, and other congenial occupations. A basic energy is existent everywhere. All your emotions rise from one particular basic energy. The movement of the hand, the voice, emotional feeling. Natural instincts rise from one basic energy that flows through the whole of mankind. When you know that this basic energy is energy in itself and you can hold it and direct it into a channel that you want it to go, then you have freed something. You have then transformed that energy into a particular form of constructive channel that will build for your health, strength, happiness, success. Ignorant repression utterly fails, and we find this energy producing painful results in an emotional habit pattern, the cause of which we are at a loss to understand. This causes more misery and the vicious circle is then created. It is not the emotion but the suppression with the evil association we attach to it that causes all the trouble. Do not be alarmed, all this will be eliminated by this properly directed technique of which you will learn in each lesson. You have to apply the method, and I will show you the way, but you are the one who must do the work. I cannot do that for you. I often wish I could, but if I did so you would not learn nor would you free yourselves from your emotional habit patterns you yourselves have created. I am putting this to you this way because I want to impress upon you the importance of these lessons. It is impossible for me to do the work for you. If I show you the way you will find what I say is true. I don't want you to believe what I say, I want you to prove for yourselves what I say is correct. The next important thing I want to tell you of is of repressed painful memories. A repressed painful memory can become so complicated and suppressed that it becomes hidden away in the recesses of the mind. But immediately something that is associated with this memory is registered upon the senses either by hearing or by seeing, the message is carried to this suppressed memory. The emotion attached to it fires up through the body. The emotion has been stimulated and the body suffers, but still the memory remains hidden. Here we have very often these particular forms of spasms that most people have. They do not know where this spasm has arisen from. They only find it firing through their bodies, a fear, a sensation, a terrific feeling that they want to run away. All these things are nothing more than suppressed memories. As you see through your senses, things may pass through your ears, through your eyes. Yet you are unconscious of the fact that there is an association with a suppressed memory that remains hidden in the recesses of your mind, that you have repressed because you have been afraid of it. You fear it, then the emotion rises to the surface, but the memory is still hidden. Because you have caused it to be suppressed and hidden, there is a censor in your own mind. A censor that will please you when you say, I want to forget that. The censor says, all right, I'll make you forget it. It does not take the emotion away from it. It still remains there as a center of energy, a center of power which begins to revolve and begins to rise up to the surface and takes hold of you at any moment. Then you find yourself in the grip of this emotion, and you know not why. This will also be removed. These causes will also be removed from you. Your mind shall be freed from them. Oh, what is the reason of my trouble? Where can I get relief? That is what the victim who suffers says in ignorance of the cause. Yes, all this can be eliminated too. I do not ask you to believe anything I say, I only want you to practice what I tell you to do and watch the results for yourselves. When a memory is a painful one, we generally try to forget it. So we repress it each time it comes up for review. We repress it again. It will rise to the surface several times and we will repress it, push it behind, and eventually, it is forgotten. But not the effect of that memory is forgotten. Oh, no. Something will come along one day and that memory, also hidden, the very sensations, the very feelings, that it gave you in the first place will rise to the surface and grip you. Yet you do not know why? How stupid people are not knowing and understanding their own makeup. By this means a force is created to ward off the memory of a painful experience. Unfortunately for us, this is not the end. For an emotional habit pattern is created and a physical condition is produced which leads us away from the cause. These emotional and painful memories may cause duodenal ulcers, they may cause irritation of the skin, and they may cause heart trouble. They may cause all kinds of things, yet we can get rid of those painful memories. We can bring them to the surface. We will look at them and we will know what they are because we will see they are just a memory. At one time I thought I could be injured, but now I know I cannot be injured. No painful memory can injure me, it's only a memory, it's only a thought. I am invincible. I am life. God is infinite in nature. Being infinite, He created everything, there can be nothing outside Him. Everything must be within Him and He must also be within me. He is the reality, the invincibility, the life in me. I am made in His image and likeness. There cannot be anything else because nothing else could make me because He is infinite in nature. There is no other creator but Him. Therefore I and He are one. I'm His creation. I live, and because I live, I know it's His life, and my life and His life are one. We are invincible. We go along together. We work hand in hand. Father and I are one. Were you not told? I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Then those painful memories will pass away. You arrive in a particular state of consciousness. That consciousness is always revealing itself, unfolding itself eternally. It is an eternal progress, an eternal unfoldment in which you become more and more aware. Yet I cannot tell you what awareness is. I only know when I am aware, moments when I am aware. Oh, the gloriousness of that awareness, the joy, the life, the wonderfulness. I cannot give you it, but you will find it. These emotional habit patterns set up a disturbance in the cerebellum and may attack any part of the body. Not having any knowledge of the cause, we become anxious. We try to escape from our painful experiences, but do we escape? There is the cerebellum, and it is in this particular portion of the brain these emotional habit patterns set up a disturbance in the cerebellum, and they attack any particular part of the body. Not having any knowledge of the cause, we become anxious and try to escape from our painful experiences. But do we escape? No. There is no escape from anything. You have to face everything boldly and know it for what it is, that a memory or experience cannot hurt you when you deal with it objectively, and through divine reasoning and properly directed relaxation all will be well. Fear is an auxiliary force which further stimulates into action the emotional habit pattern, already in operation. It is like adding coals to the fire, but it is a happy relief to know that knowledge will free us from all our troubles. In one of the lessons in this series I will deal with the reviewing of our mental makeup. It is a most distressing thing to see that academics go along a particular line of action, paying no attention to the real side of life. Therefore they drag up all these particular things that the person is afraid of and has been afraid all of their lives, many often forgotten, yet they are dragged to the surface. But the victim is not ready to deal with them because he lacks the divine reasoning power, and the second state is worse than the first. Then we see that the mind is poisoned because of the poisonous ideas that the individual has attached to his own experiences and repressed them in fear. Consequently, when they rise to the surface, they poison the mind worse than is ever been before. Although these memories are not always on the surface, they have a continual effect upon the organism through the cerebellum, creating these habit patterns in the form of the troubles that most people suffer from today. Therefore I say, unfortunately and dreadfully, is that academics have followed a line of action where they have disregarded the main theme of life. Many people try to run away from the past, but the past and future is now, and when the present is realized, there is no past or future. Some of you will not understand what I have said. I know you do not understand, but you will. There is no past in the present. There is no past in the future. The present is life. The present is reality. It always existed. It cannot have a past or a future. I am that presence. The past is only memories. The future is but a hope in my mind, a belief. I am now. The past and the future are now, in me, now. Now do you understand it? Then your experiences become an asset and not a liability. You will look upon your experiences as stepping stones to greater things. But if you are continually trying to escape, you will never receive the benefit of your experiences. We must see them as stepping stones and not stumbling blocks. In Corinthians 11, verses 10, 11, Eastern text, we read, "Herein I give you my advice that it may help you to go forward and accomplish what you, of your own accord, began last year. Now therefore perform the doing of that which you wish to do, and as you are eager to promise it, so fulfill from that which you have." As I opened the Bible, this caught my eye, so I knew it was for you also. This will lead us on now to the practical application of the method to be used in eliminating all emotional habit patterns which you have established unconsciously. You will be able to remove them consciously through understanding and scientific relaxation. Let us review our problems. We have a vicious circle in operation. Emotional habit patterns have upset the proper functioning of our organism. Our nerves play tricks on us, because the nervous system ceases to function properly. This interferes with our thinking. So many are on the try once policy, beset by a swarm of amateur advisors, by indecision, victims of cerebellum misbehavior. Most people do not know where to start in their search for the way to become a natural human being again. How many amateur advisors have you had in your time with your trouble? Some will say, try this, Mrs. So-and-so is a wonderful thing, You try this. And you sometimes try this and then yet try that, and then you try something else. And what was the result? I remember a person who had a chilblain. A person said to this person, you know, you can cure a chilblain by putting a red herring on it. You know, one of those herrings, you take out the salt and you put it on. So this woman put this salt herring on her foot. She tied it round her foot and she left it on all night. When she awoke in the morning, she had a poisoned foot. She came to me with her poisoned foot and I said, "What did you do, woman?" I said, "This is a poisoned foot." She says, "Well, you know, I tied a salt herring round my foot because I had a chilblain on it." "Who told you that?" "Oh," she said, "a man told me that, you know. He knew what he was talking about, you know." I said, "Yes, you very nearly lost your foot." I said, "In another 12 hours, you would have lost your foot. You would have been in a hospital to have this foot off, because you have now poisoned your foot as big as this, and the red streak going up your leg. Your gland all swollen up here. What do you think?" I said, "Now you have got to get that out of you very quickly. Hot and cold applications must be done at once. You must have an enema. You must get your bowels cleansed, even your whole body cleansed, and you must not have any meat of any kind. You must not eat anything at all for 2 or 3 days. Drink water, barley water and lemon juice. You must keep your blood clean and get this thing out of your system, and apply proper applications to draw the poisons out of your foot." So I told her what to do. I said, "Now, you will go to the chemist and you will buy a big roll, as much as you can, of Boracic 3 lint and a lot of waterproofing. You will put this on your foot, and you will put the waterproofing all over it. You will bandage it up and you will keep that on it and keep refreshing it. Then you will do hot and cold applications." In 12 hours the inflammation died down, drawn all the poison out of her foot. I said, "Now you may thank your lucky stars that your foot is not off." Amateur advisors. In adjusting our lives, there is always the first step to gain freedom, to live more abundantly, to have greater energy and vigor, to have a clear mind free from conflict. This first step is relaxation coupled with divine reasoning, and I cannot overemphasize its importance. In following my directions carefully, you must teach yourself complete relaxation and obtain freedom through divine reasoning in these 10 lessons. The first step: have a couch not too soft yet easy to lie upon. Take off all tight clothes, belts, garters, boots, etc. Provide yourself with 2 pillows, one slightly larger than the other, and a soft light blanket. Now lie down, place the larger pillow under your head and the other under your knees. Now pull the ends of the pillow under your head forward till the neck rests snugly. There must be no bridge between the head and the shoulder, and the whole weight must be taken up so that there is no tension anywhere. It is absolutely necessary that the neck and head must be comfortable. If you cannot get perfect comfort, your neck needs adjusting, and you should come to me for the necessary adjustment. Place the pillow under your knees so that the muscles do not strain. The gentle rise underneath the knees will obviate this. Sometimes when you lie and put your legs down, you find your muscles strain. You feel the tension in your muscles. That tension must be taken off, because there must be no tension. What you are after is relaxation. Spread your legs out to about 30 degrees so that the outside of the calf takes the weight. Lay your arms lightly by your side, your hands resting upon the groins. Some people are made in such way, immediately they lay their arm down, their hand sticks up this way. You cannot expect to have relaxation if your hand is stuck up like that, nor can you expect to have relaxation if there is a strain on those muscles underneath. Therefore you take the tension off. Relax your jaw, drop the lower jaw, then close your lips. You cannot relax if your lower jaw is tight. Close your eyes. You must learn to lift the jaw forward. That is the secret of relaxation. You can have no relaxation if your jaw is tight. Take the tension off your arms and legs. Relax, relax. You must speak to your limbs and your arms. When you do this, what happens is that, as you relax your limbs and your arms, a message is sent from your limbs to your arms up to the motor center of your brain. A message comes back again, and then it will begin relaxation. The synaptic process of the brain begins to slow down. Energy is flowing over us all the time. When we have tension in your muscles, you have a continual flow of energy over these synapses. When you have relaxation, you have this synapses slowing down. It causes then this motor portion of your brain to give up its misbehavior. It is transformed here, and you begin to feel results, and consciously, you become aware of a definite healing process taking place. The mechanism comes into operation and life is freed. Talk to your arms and legs, they will send a message to the cerebellum of what is taking place, and the cerebellum will begin to let go of the habit pattern. Each day you will get your arms and legs more and more relaxed. Learn to relax your arms and legs first. I will tell you why later on. After you have relaxed for 20 minutes, breathe deeply and repeat, "Divine peace fills me" 60 times. We have a mechanism that will work for us if we know how to use it. It brings results and pays big dividends. We have inherited erroneous ideas from past generations those who go on disregarding the wonderful inner world that is perpetually giving us life and strength can only blame themselves if they are caught up in the net of the illusion of the erroneous self-created emotional habit patterns that cause disaster in their lives. We are suffering today both individually and collectively, caused by these emotional habit patterns ignorantly created. Consequently, we produce in the world around us the effects of what we think, our thoughts producing their kind. Seek ye first the kingdom and the right use of that kingdom, and all else shall be added unto you. All shall be well with you. Benediction. O divine peace, I am in tune with thee. I care not if the screaming shells of painful memories whistle around me. I take no notice of stray shots fired at my honor. Machine guns of desire and emotions may fire their salvos, for while thou art with me I am safe behind the ramparts of thy everlasting peace. I am safe in the rough and tumble of modern life, for I seek not to rouse the wrath of others, neither do I awaken in them resentment or envy. For of myself I am nothing, all my blessings come from thee. I thank thee for thy secret store of everlasting peace hidden in my soul. I find it flowing into my consciousness as I relax and think of thee, O divine peace.